Hello, Bronco fans and football fans alike. Welcome to Week 13 postgame between the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is Broncos Breakdown. I'm your host, Bronco Bill. Well, that was a game that I never saw it being that close. It was a lot closer than I had anticipated, that's for sure. In my pregame video, I felt that the Broncos were going to lose 23-10. Well, I almost got the 23 with the Chiefs, but I didn't get the 10 with the Broncos, which was a good thing. Final score was Chiefs 22, Broncos 16. Now, yes, the Chiefs did win by 6 points, but the Broncos really had a chance to win this game. There were some critical mistakes, both by Drew Lock and in my opinion, also by Pat Shurmur, as well as Vic Fangio. So there's enough blame to go around for this loss. Do I think the Chiefs overlooked the Broncos? Absolutely. And I also think that the Chiefs really didn't take the Broncos seriously in regards to the Broncos' last game when they played the Saints and didn't even have a quarterback. So I think that played into the Chiefs' thinking. They felt like this was a cakewalk. Denver came out, and right out of the gun, Drew Lock hits Noah Fant on the left side for a huge gain. Denver then moves the ball down with Melvin Gordon. They hit again some passes again to Fant, and they kept the ball moving. And it really looked like Denver was going to take an early lead, whether it be 3-0 or 7-0 on their first drive. But then what does Lock do? Lock does what Lock has always done, and that is he doesn't look for his checkdowns. He doesn't look for what the defense is giving him. No, he fired down the field and tried to hit a receiver. I believe it might have been Patrick. I'm not sure. But he tried to hit a receiver who was well covered. There was also a defender short. There was a defender deep. So basically it was triple coverage. And he throws it, and of course it's intercepted. So the Broncos' opening drive is stopped when there was a wide open, I believe it was Lindsey underneath, or was it, it could have been Gordon, but underneath was wide open, and he doesn't check down. That would have been a first down. It would have kept the drive going. But no, Lock does what Lock does. And that has been frustrating ever since we drafted this guy. Now, yes, I was thrilled when we drafted him, because when we drafted him, he has the arm strength, he has the legs, he's smart, college smart football, not NFL smart football. And that's where the problem is. It's between his ears. And he wants to go deep. Do you realize that Drew Lock averages 9.6 yards a throw? The longest yardage per throw in the NFL. What? Why? All you have to do is check down. Let your receivers do the work. Yes, if there's a wide open receiver, yes, hit him. Throw the ball to him. But if he's covered, don't try and force it. This is in college. I've said this over and over and over until I'm Bronco blue in the face. And it's getting old. Very, very old. And we've got 5 games left, guys. Or is it 4? 13? This is week 13. We got 4 games left. And I don't see Drew Lock changing. I could get into that. I could do the whole video on him, but I'm not going to. I need to move on. Like I said, the Broncos' first series was great until that interception. Noah Fant and Melvin Gordon were huge in the first half. Gordon was chewing up yardage. He was running hard. They were running off to the right side. The Chiefs have the weakest side of their defense is on their left side, the Broncos' right side. And Shurmur kept exploiting that, and it was working. And then we were hitting Fant on the sidelines and across the middle and on short passes, and it was effective. What happened in the second half? The second half, the Broncos come out, and they hardly ever used Noah Fant in the passing game. They tried to get the ball to Jerry Jeudy, but Jerry Jeudy was double covered all day. And I'm kind of surprised Drew Lock didn't try and throw it to him double covered. He tried to throw it to everybody else double covered. But he didn't. He only went to Jerry Jeudy a couple of times in the game. But he did hit a beautiful, beautiful pass and beautiful footwork by Patrick in the end zone. And it was amazing, amazing catch. If you haven't seen it, you got to see the highlights on that. Just a phenomenal catch on the sideline in the end zone for a touchdown. So Locke did have some good throws, but he needs to be more focused on what the NFL and the defense of other teams has given him. So I don't know why they went away from Gordon or why they went away from Noah Fant. They were huge in the first half. But Pat Shurmur changed things up, and what he did was he changed up the chances for the Broncos to win. At one point in time, it was 4th and 3. It was like 5 minutes left in the game, and the Broncos are trailing 19-16. And it was 4th and 3 on the Broncos 49. And instead of going for it with a lower 5 minutes to go, I mean, I realize you're going to give Patrick Mahomes a short field, but I'd rather give Mahomes a short field and still have plenty of time on the clock than to punt the ball, which the Broncos did, and then allow Mahomes and the Chiefs to move right down the field, use up most of the 5 minutes, kick a field goal that made the game 22-16. Now, if Denver does make the first down on 4th and 3 on their own 49, let's say they gain 4 yards and they get a first down. Now they have control and they can kick the tying field goal and hopefully force overtime. Or they can drive down the field and hopefully get a touchdown to win the game. But no, they punt. And Mahomes and the Chiefs and Kelsey move right down the field, and they get a field goal. Yes, Denver's defense held. Denver's defense was solid all game. I'll get to that in a few minutes. And they held them to a field goal. So it's 22-16. But what does that mean? That means now Denver cannot tie the game with a field goal. They need a touchdown and an extra point to win, or a touchdown and missed extra point for overtime. But they only have a minute and no timeouts. Well, we know the answer, guys. It didn't happen. Drew Lock throws the last play of the game, throws an interception. Of course he does. But that's only because he was trying to make something happen. I understand that at that point in time in the game. But why not go for it? Now, let's say Denver goes for it on 4th and 3, and they don't get it. Okay, so Mahomes has a short field. He has 50 yards to go, let's say. And the Broncos hold for a field goal. Well, guess what? He doesn't use up 4 minutes of the 5 minutes, most likely because the Broncos have all 3 of their timeouts at that point. He uses up maybe 2.5 minutes. Well, that makes it easier for Denver to at least try and score a touchdown and field goal or touchdown extra point to win the game. With 2.5 minutes, it's a lot easier than 1 minute. Now, do I think they would have done it? I don't know. We'll never know. But what I do know is it was a ridiculous call not to go for it. But Fangio's been making ridiculous calls all year, with not using his timeouts correctly, punting when he shouldn't punt, don't go for a field goal when he should have. He's done it all year, and it's frustrating as much as it's frustrating to see Drew Lock throw interception after interception after interception. In fact, the interception he threw in the first quarter was his 7th straight interception game of 7 straight games that he's played. So that means he's throwing an interception in 7 consecutive games. That's ridiculous. He's not going to win games that way, guys. And he needs to learn. Or he needs to be benched. Or he needs to be cut. Talking about the defense playing hard. Shelby Harris was back. And guess what Shelby Harris does? He knocks down passes. And he knocked down at least 2 yesterday, may have been 3. And those very, very they were, well, every tip ball or every deflected ball is great, but Shelby Harris seems to do it week in and week out, and he definitely is an amazing defender. There was one play in the game where Mahomes threw a pass, I believe it was to Hill, and somehow, some way, it got deflected off of a helmet or a shoulder pad, and as he was falling down the end zone, completely blanketed by the Bronco defender, the ball never hit the ground. The ball landed on his shoulder pad, and he cradled it with his arm, so it should have been a touchdown. But he thought it hit the ground, so he never told the coach. And so instead of it being a touchdown, the Chiefs ended up punting. So the game could have been a lot larger deficit than it was. There was a lot of overthrown passes that Mahomes threw to receivers that were wide open. So the score could have easily been, 35-16 or even, 38-16. But it wasn't. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe some of the Chief players didn't really know who they were playing. Because in the post game, when they interviewed Travis Kelce, he makes the point. He says he tips his hat to the Raiders for playing tough both times this year. What? The Raiders? Hey, Travis, don't you look at the schedule? Don't you look at the uniform of the team on the other side of the field? Don't you realize that orange and blue is not silver and black? Like I said, I don't think that maybe all the Chiefs were really taking the Broncos seriously, and Travis Kelce obviously proved that. There were some really good points in the game, like I said, with the defense and the running game and Noah Fant and in plays that the Broncos used to move the ball. The great catch by Patrick, Noah Fant on the opening drive. I mentioned those. The Shelby Harris, the defense in as a whole, keeping the Chiefs for the most part out of the end zone and forcing field goals. So my final comment is this: was this a moral victory for Denver? Well, I don't really like moral victories, because even though, quote, moral victory is not a win, guys, it's still a loss in the win-loss column in the season. But in regards to playing the Chiefs close and only losing by 6 points, I'm not too sure, like I said, that the Chiefs' head and heart was really in this game, thinking that this was going to be a tough game. I really feel that they felt this game was going to be a cakewalk. All they had to do was show up, and that wasn't the case. The Broncos played hard. They played with passion, and they made the game a lot closer than it really should have been. I think the Chiefs were looking past Denver, absolutely. And I also feel that after last week's debacle by the NFL and allowing the Broncos or forcing the Broncos to play without a quarterback was something that really got under the Broncos players' skin. And I think they came out with a chip on their shoulder. And I think they really had something to prove. I just wish that the game outcome would have been different, of course, but I do congratulate them on making the game close and at least giving it their best. Well, that's it, guys. That's all I have for this post game. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for subscribing if you have. And we'll talk to you next week. I forgot who we play. Anyways, we'll talk to you on Friday for the Week 14 pregame. So enjoy your week, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.